This isn't just a dream. It felt like an encounter. And the message I was given was too powerful to keep to myself. I want to tell you about something that happened to me a few months ago. I've thought about it every single day since, and I can't shake the feeling that it was meant to be shared. It all started with a dream. Now, I know how that sounds. People often think dreams are just random pictures in our heads. But this one was different. It was so real, so full of life and feeling that when I woke up, I carried the weight of it in my chest like it had truly happened. In the dream, I found myself in a place that felt like nowhere and everywhere at the same time. There were no walls, no buildings, no familiar landmarks, yet somehow it felt like home. The light there was not like the sun, nor like a lamp. It seemed to come from within everything around me, glowing warmly, filling me with peace. It was the kind of peace I don't often feel when I'm awake. Then I saw him. A man was walking toward me, and before I could even wonder who he was, I knew. It was Jesus. Not the Jesus from paintings or movies, but someone alive, real, full of love. His eyes were the first thing I noticed. They weren't ordinary eyes. They carried a depth of compassion that seemed to see all of me. My mistakes, my worries, my pain, and yet they loved me anyway. He sat down beside me, calm and kind, and the first thing he said was, "You've been carrying so much weight that was never meant to be yours." I froze. It was like he knew my secret thoughts, the grief, the guilt, the endless questions that kept me up at night. I wanted to explain myself, to tell him all the reasons why I felt broken. But he raised his hand gently, almost like saying, "I already know." As we sat together in that strange but peaceful place, Jesus spoke again. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried such weight that every word seemed to settle deep inside me. He said, "I know about your losses. I know the grief you carry. I know the guilt you've held on to for things that were never your fault. But I need you to understand something that will change everything. You are worthy of love." Those words hit me so hard that I felt something break open inside me. My chest felt lighter, almost like I had been holding my breath for years and finally let it out. For so long, I had believed that love had to be earned. I thought I had to prove myself by working hard, by being helpful, by trying to be the person others needed me to be. But Jesus looked at me with those eyes full of kindness and said, "You don't need to earn love. You already are love. From the moment you were born, you were worthy. And nothing you do or don't do will ever change that truth." I didn't even realize I had tears running down my face until he reached out and touched my shoulder. His touch filled me with warmth that spread through my whole body. He continued, "The pain you carry from losing people you love has convinced you that you're somehow flawed, that if you had been different, maybe those losses wouldn't have happened. But suffering is not punishment. It doesn't mean you're broken or unworthy. It means you're human. And being human is exactly what you were created to be." I couldn't speak. I just sat there listening, soaking in every word. Jesus told me that one of the most important things I needed to learn was forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving myself. Self-forgiveness, he said, is the key to freedom. It's what unlocks the heavy prison of guilt and regret that you've been living in. Without it, you'll never know real peace. At that moment, I understood what he meant, even though I'd never admitted out loud how much I blamed myself for things beyond my control. When Jesus spoke about forgiveness, I felt a lump rise in my throat. Forgiving other people was already hard enough, but forgiving myself, that felt almost impossible. I wanted to tell him that some of the mistakes I'd made were too big, too heavy to ever let go of. But before I could say anything, he looked at me with a gentle smile as if he already knew my thoughts. He said, "Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending painful things never happened. It means releasing the grip that pain has on your heart. When you keep replaying your mistakes, when you punish yourself again and again for being human, you're not honoring the people you've lost. You're dishonoring the gift of life they would want you to live fully." Those words shook me. I had spent years blaming myself for things I couldn't change, thinking if I had just done something different, maybe the people I loved would still be here. But Jesus reminded me that suffering is not punishment and loss is not proof of failure. I asked him quietly, "But how do I forgive myself for things that feel unforgivable?" His smile grew even softer. "Start," he said, by talking to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. If someone you cared about came to you in pain, would you tell them they deserve to suffer forever? No. You'd offer compassion, kindness, and hope. That's what you need to give yourself. Then he added, that harsh voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not enough, that reminds you of every failure, that's not my voice. That's fear. And fear is a liar. Fear tries to keep you small, to keep you hiding. But you were made for more than that. You deserve love, peace, and joy just as much as anyone else. His words sank deep inside me, almost like they were planting seeds. For the first time, I realized that maybe forgiveness wasn't about erasing the past. Maybe it was about loosening the chains I had wrapped around myself and learning to breathe again. After sitting quietly for a moment, I finally asked the question that had followed me all my life. What is my purpose? I had spent so many years searching, through work, through helping others, through endless questions about meaning. I always felt like there had to be some grand mission I was supposed to discover. Jesus smiled at me kindly, like he had been waiting for this question. Your purpose isn't complicated, he said. Your purpose is to love. I frowned a little, not sure I understood. But what does that even look like? I asked. Life can be messy. Sometimes I don't know what the right thing to do is. He nodded slowly, like he understood my confusion. Love is not about perfection, he explained. It shows up in the small things. When you're kind to a stranger, that's love in action. When you help someone without expecting anything in return, that's love in action. When you bring honesty and heart to your work, that's love in action. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to choose love in each moment, and the path will open in front of you. Then he added something that struck me deeply. Your heart knows the difference between love and fear. Fear is loud. It tells you to protect yourself, to take, to distrust. Love is quiet but clear. It tells you to give, to trust, to hope. When you face a choice, ask yourself, is this decision coming from love or from fear? And then, even when it feels scary, choose love. I realized in that moment that I had been making life much harder than it needed to be. I had thought my purpose was something I had to chase or earn. But Jesus was showing me that purpose was already here. It was simple but powerful. Live in love, one choice at a time. As we walked farther together, Jesus spoke about something I had always struggled with. My feelings. The sadness you feel, the loneliness, the sense that something is missing, he said. These are not signs that you're failing at life. They are signs that your heart is awake. I looked at him, confused. For years, I had thought my sensitivity was weakness. I believed that feeling too deeply meant I wasn't strong enough. But Jesus shook his head gently. Many people try to block out pain, he explained. They numb themselves so they don't have to feel grief or fear. But when they do that, they also block out joy, wonder, and connection. Your ability to feel deeply, even when it hurts, is actually a gift. It makes you more compassionate, more understanding. Don't try to shut it down. See it as a strength, he went on. People often think being spiritual means always being calm and happy. But that's not true. Spiritual people feel everything more deeply because they are open to life itself. The goal isn't to erase hard emotions. The goal is to let them pass through you without controlling you. Emotions are teachers. They arrive to show you something and then they leave. I thought of all the times I had tried to run from my feelings, pushing them aside or pretending they weren't there. Jesus seemed to hear my thoughts. When grief comes, let it come. When anger rises, acknowledge it. When fear shows up, don't hide from it. But remember, emotions are visitors. They don't live here forever. You are not your sadness or your fear. You are the space where these feelings appear and fade away. For the first time, I realized maybe I didn't need to fight my feelings anymore. Maybe I just had to welcome them like passing guests, listen to what they had to teach me, and then let them go when it was time. After some silence, I asked Jesus why I often felt disconnected from my own life, like I was just going through the motions. He looked at me with kindness and said, "That feeling comes when you lose touch with the present moment. You spend too much time in the past, replaying regrets, or in the future, worrying about what might happen. But life only exists right now. The present moment is where healing happens, where love flows, where truth is revealed." He gestured to the glowing world around us. Look at this place. It only exists in this moment. If you were thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, you would miss it completely. That's how most people live, always somewhere else in their minds, missing the miracle that's happening right in front of them. I thought about how often I had done exactly that. Sitting with people but not really listening. Working but not really present. Always distracted by my worries. Jesus continued, "Presence is the greatest gift you can give. When you are fully present with someone, you give them your love in its purest form. When you are present with your work, you fill it with meaning and authenticity. And when you are present with yourself, you stop running from life and start embracing it." He gave me some simple guidance. Practice coming back to the moment. Notice your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Look into people's eyes when they speak. These small acts of attention will transform your life. Then his tone grew serious. You've spent much of your life trying to prove you deserve to be here, working hard to justify your existence. But your worth isn't conditional. You don't need to earn your place in this world. You are enough exactly as you are, right here, right now. Hearing that, I felt tears welling in my eyes. I realized how much energy I had wasted trying to prove myself. When the truth had always been simple, I already belonged. As we walked further, Jesus sat down on what looked like a glowing stone and motioned for me to join him. He looked at me with such understanding and said, "I know you carry heavy questions about the people you've lost. You wonder if you could have done something different, something more." My heart pounded, because that was exactly what I thought about almost every day. Before I could speak, he continued, "The people you've loved who are no longer here are not gone forever. Death is not an ending. It is a transition. They exist now in a place of pure love, free from pain, free from fear, free from all limits. And they want you to know this. Your love for them still reaches them, and their love for you still flows into your life." I felt tears run down my face as he spoke. Jesus added, "The guilt you carry about their deaths serves no one. They don't want you to punish yourself in their memory. They want you to live fully, to love deeply, to find joy again. That is how you honor them, not through your suffering, but through your living." Then something incredible happened. He showed me what looked like a mirror, but instead of reflecting me, it showed moments of my life. Times when I had been kind, when I had helped others, when I had offered comfort. I saw faces of people I had touched, some I remembered and some I didn't. "This," Jesus said, "is how I see you. Not through the lens of your mistakes, but through the love you have shared. Every small act of kindness creates ripples far beyond what you can see. You worry that you haven't done enough, that your life doesn't matter. But look at this. Your light has already touched countless lives." I realized then that love never dies. It continues through us, through the lives we touch, and through the memory of those who came before us. As we came to the end of our walk, Jesus led me toward a doorway made of light. I felt both sad and excited, knowing our time together was almost finished. He turned to me one last time and said, "Before you go, I want to give you some guidance. What we have spoken about is not only for you. It is meant to be shared." I felt nervous. I told him, "But I'm not a preacher or a teacher. Who would listen to me?" Jesus smiled gently. "That's exactly why people will listen. You are not here to preach. You are here to share your story, your struggles, your questions, your discoveries. People connect with honesty, not perfection. When you tell your truth, you give others permission to face theirs." He explained, "Your purpose is simple, to love. Share that truth. Tell people they are worthy of love, not because of what they do, but because of who they are. Tell them forgiveness is possible, especially self-forgiveness. Tell them their pain does not make them broken. It makes them human. Tell them their sensitivity is not weakness, it is a gift. Remind them that they don't need to earn their place in this world. They already belong." Then he gave me some practical advice. "When you share this message, speak from your heart, not your head. Don't worry about saying everything perfectly. Just be real. Remember, you are planting seeds. Some will grow right away, some will take years, and some may not grow at all. That is not your job to control. Your job is simply to share with love." Finally, he placed his hand on my shoulder and said, "Remember, you are my beloved. You are enough exactly as you are." Go now and let your life be a light. Share love through your words, your actions, and your presence. I will be with you every step of the way. And with that, I stepped through the doorway of light. When I woke up, I knew this dream was not just a dream. It was a calling. And now I share it with you. You are loved, you are worthy, and your purpose is to love.